So get this picture, that 2012 Notre Dame Stanford game.
Oh, yeah.
That thriller. Decided by just inches, right?
Absolutely.
Now imagine that kind of nail-biting energy.
Yeah.
But with a whole new statistical twist.
I like it.
Because today, we are diving deep into the upcoming Notre Dame-Stanford matchup.
Love it.
And we're going way beyond, the usual who's going to win talk.
Right.
We've got this treasure trove of stats we're going to be sifting through and really uncovering that strategic chess match that's hiding beneath the surface.
It's fascinating how numbers can kind of reveal a team's personality, their tendencies, your potential traps.
Yeah.
It's all there.
And our source today is giving us like a front row seat to all of that.
Absolutely.
So first off, let's talk about Notre Dame's ground game.
Okay.
214 rushing yards per game, averaging 6.2 yards a pop.
Right.
Those are just numbers. That's a statement.
It's a statement that screams control.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it. It's not just about clock management either. Right. Notre Dame's offensive line, they're practically a veteran wall.
Okay.
This tells me they might be aiming to wear down Stanford's front seven, dictate the pace of this game.
Right.
Turn it into a battle of attrition.
Right. Like a boa constrictor.
Exactly.
Slowly squeeze and wear you down.
That's a great analogy.
And speaking of wearing down defenses, Riley Leonard's averaging a cool 6.3 yards per rush.
Okay.
What do we make of that? Another cog in the control machine or something more?
He's certainly effective. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Stanford, they're only averaging 119 rushing yards per game.
Okay.
Now, does that mean they're one-dimensional? Not necessarily.
No.
They're airing it out for 241.5 yards per game.
Okay.
Ashton Daniels already boasting 384 yards and 3 touchdowns this season.
So they're saying we'll match your ground game with an air raid.
Right.
Bold strategy.
It is. And potentially a very necessary one.
Yeah.
But that begs the question.
Yeah.
Can Daniels maintain this pace against a Notre Dame defense that snatched 7 interceptions in just 5 games?
7 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not just opportunistic. That's borderline scary.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a defensive scheme that's designed to force those mistakes? Or is it more about, individual players making big plays?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
Remember, Notre Dame's defense thrives on disruption.
Yeah.
They're known for their aggressive blitzes, their knack for disguising coverages, which forces quarterbacks into tough decisions. It's not just about waiting for the quarterback to mess up.
Right.
It's about forcing the issue.
So it's a calculated risk on Stanford's part.
It is.
On the one hand, they've got the potential for those explosive plays.
Right.
But on the other hand, they're playing right into Notre Dame's strength.
Precisely. It creates this fascinating tension.
And when we look at the total offensive yards, it almost looks like two different philosophies clashing here.
Yeah.
Notre Dame sitting pretty at 385.6 yards per game with a nicely balanced attack.
Right.
Stanford, they're at 361.5 yards, but leaning heavily on those passes.
This is where coaching philosophies really come into play. Notre Dame's coach clearly favors a balanced attack, controlling the clock, limiting mistakes.
Right.
While Stanford's coach seems content to live and die by the pass.
So even though Stanford's putting up decent yardage, the how they're doing it seems riskier.
Exactly. And that's why understanding the why behind the numbers is so crucial.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these contrasting styles.
Right.
We've got these potential traps.
Yeah.
But then there's the turnover battle. 7 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries for Notre Dame.
Right.
Compared to Stanford's single interception.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
That's a pretty big gap.
It is. And it circles right back to that risk-reward dynamic we've been discussing.
Right.
More passes, while potentially more explosive, also equal more opportunities for mistakes, especially against a defense as opportunistic as Notre Dame's.
It's almost like they're daring Stanford to make those mistakes.
In a way, yes.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to zero in on another stat that caught my eye.
Okay.
Third down efficiency. Both teams are converting around 35-36% of the time.
Interesting.
That seems oddly close.
It does.
Considering they're drastically different styles.
It does, and that's why this stat is so intriguing.
Yeah.
It tells me that despite their reliance on the pass, Stanford's offense might be more resilient than we think.
Okay.
On the flip side, Notre Dame's success on third down might hinge on their ability to establish that run game early and often.
So control the ground game, control the third down conversions, control the game.
In theory, yes. But, of course, football is rarely that simple.
You're telling me, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But I think there's one more crucial aspect we need to dissect.
Okay.
the predicted score. And trust me, you're not ready for this one.
Oh, okay. I gotta know. Lay it on me. What is the prediction that has you so fired up?
Get this. The prediction model has Notre Dame winning 34-17.
Wow. Okay. So not just a win,
Yeah.
a statement win.
Right. But here's the thing. Does that score really reflect
Yeah.
everything we've just unpacked?
Well, if Notre Dame executes their game plan like we've been talking about,
Right.
control the clock, wear down Stanford's defense, force them into those risky throws. Yeah, 34 points seems plausible.
Okay, but what about Stanford's passing game?
Right.
Surely they've got some tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah.
Can we really write them off for just 17 points?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
We've talked about their reliance on Daniel, the inherent risks involved.
Yeah.
But here's something else to consider, play action.
Okay.
If Stanford can establish even just a hint of a running game,
Yeah.
it could open up huge opportunities for big plays off play action passes.
Because Notre Dame's going to be so focused on stopping the run
Exactly.
that those play action passes could really catch them off guard.
It's all about keeping the defense guessing.
So Stanford's strategy hinges on more than just Daniels' arm.
Right.
They need to keep Notre Dame honest.
Yes.
Force them to respect the run, even if it's just a feint.
Precisely. And that's where this coaching matchup gets even more intriguing.
Yeah.
Can Stanford's coach outsmart Notre Dame's defense?
Mm-hmm.
Can they find those cracks in the armor and exploit them?
Now, that's the kind of chess match I can get behind.
Absolutely.
But even with all this analysis, I keep coming back to that score, 34-17.
Yeah.
It just feels
Lopsided.
lopsided.
It does, yes. But remember, predictions are just the predictions.
Right.
The beauty of sports, anything can happen on any given day.
A fumble recovery at the right moment.
Absolutely.
A blown coverage.
Yep.
A last-second field goal.
All it takes.
All it takes.
Those seemingly small moments that can completely rewrite the script.
Which is why, my friend, I think we need to take this deep dive one step further.
Okay. I'm listening.
We've talked about the what. We've talked about the how.
Okay.
But what about the who?
You're talking about the X factor.
Yeah.
The human element.
The human element. We've got these two teams,
Right.
each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
For sure.
But what about the players themselves? What about the coaches calling the shots?
The leaders, the motivators.
Yes.
The ones who can inspire their team to greatness or crumble under pressure.
Because we can crunch numbers all day long.
Right.
But ultimately, it's the players on the field who determine the outcome.
And that's what makes this whole thing so exciting. The unpredictability of it all.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
But before we get too caught up in the hype,
Yeah.
I think it's time to bring it back down to earth for a moment.
Okay.
You know, for our listeners who are probably taking notes like crazy right now.
Good point. Let's recap what we've learned so far.
All right, so to bring it all back home for you, think of this matchup as like a real clash of styles.
I like it.
You've got Notre Dame, the methodical boa constrictor,
Right.
aiming to control the game with that powerful run game and a defense that's like a turnover factory.
And on the other side, you have Stanford, the risk takers.
Right.
Putting their faith in Ashton Daniels' arm and hoping to exploit any defensive lapses with those big plays.
And we talked about Notre Dame's potential to just dominate time of possession.
Absolutely.
Especially if that veteran offensive line lives up to the hype.
Right.
But as you're watching, pay attention to how Stanford counters.
Okay.
Do they stick to their guns with that passing game? Or do they try to establish a run game, even if it's just to set up those sneaky play-action passes?
And don't forget about that third down efficiency.
Right.
It might not be as flashy as, a 50-yard touchdown.
Right.
But those conversions could be crucial, especially in a tight game.
Because every first down for Notre Dame keeps that clock ticking.
Keeps that clock ticking, wears down Stanford's defense just a little bit more.
It's like a chess match out there where every single move matters.
Absolutely.
And we've given you the pieces, the strategies, the potential pitfalls.
We have.
But now it's up to you to watch how these players respond.
Yeah.
How the coaches adjust their game plans.
Because, let's be honest, that's what makes sports so captivating.
It is.
Those unscripted moments.
Yes.
The twists and turns you never saw coming.
The roar of the crowd, the electricity in the air, those are things you can't quantify.
You can't. And sometimes the most memorable games aren't the blowouts.
Yeah.
It's the ones that come down to the wire.
Yes.
Where a single play, a single decision can change everything.
So as you watch Notre Dame take on Stanford,
Yeah.
remember to appreciate not just that final score,
Right.
but the journey, The individual battles, the strategic decisions that are unfolding right there before your eyes.
That's what makes a deep dive so rewarding.
It is.
It's not just about getting the answer. It's about understanding the why.
Exactly. And who knows, you might even spot something we missed.
I like it.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
That's what we're hoping for.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions,
Absolutely.
and keep diving deep.